Good morning, good morning, good morning, you guys. Welcome to the Daily Drive. I have some fun information for you today. So hey, say hey when y'all hop on. Welcome. We're going to get into some Freedom Friday stuff today because y'all know I love putting Freedom Friday, Motivation Monday, Gratitude Wednesday. Y'all know I love putting all that together. So we're going to get into some Freedom Friday stuff. But hello, good morning. Welcome to the Daily Drive, y'all. If you are new here, I created the Daily Drive just to help me stay in control of my anxiety, and it turns out it helps some other people. So we're going to talk about this a little bit today. So welcome. When y'all hop on, say hey, give me some little sunshines in the chat. My setup looks a little bit different today, and that's because my mother-in-law is staying with us, and so she's in my office. I'm probably waking her up right now. But so my setup looks a little bit different today, so I had to come out here in the dining room and do a little different space. My husband just helped me cover up our gross wall a little bit before I came out here, but we're gonna get into Freedom Friday. So y'all say hey when you get on. Let me know you're here and hanging out with me. I know that it is oh gosh, is it July now? It is July 2nd. I didn't even put a title on this when I started it. Oops. I just clicked the live button. I just realized that. I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. But it's July already, and yes, I'm wearing Halloween ears in July because these were the next ears up on my border of my living room. And these are just some fun Halloween ears that we got. I don't even know. Sometime. Somebody sent them to us, I think, at some point. But these are just some fun, sparkly Halloween ears. So Halloween in July, whatevs. I love them. I think it'll be Halloween ears for the next couple of ones. So anyway, give me a hashtag, share your ears. But when y'all hop on, say, hey, we're going to talk about Freedom Friday. I have notes on a little sticky note because I'm not in my office with my dry erase board like normal. So I'm trying to remember what I'm even going to talk about. But we're going to talk about Freedom Friday because freedom starts in your mind. If you have been here with me for a little bit, then this is what you have heard me talk about, because freedom starts in your mind. It starts with taking control of things in your mind. It starts with unlimiting your thoughts and changing your thought processes in your mind before any other kind of freedom is going to come about to you, whether you're looking for financial freedom, whether you're looking for freedom from a relationship or within your relationship or from a job or whatever it is, whatever kind of freedom you are seeking, it truly starts in your mind and with your mindset and how you look at things. And so what I want to talk to y'all about today, since freedom starts in your mind, she just woke up. Freedom starts in your mind. What I want to talk to you about is using intentional thoughts to free yourself and to free your mind and to keep your mind open. It's using your intentional thinking to lead you towards freedom, right? And it kind of sounds like that's backwards because it's like if I have this that I'm looking at, is that really freedom? But what we're going to talk about is the specific intentional thoughts that you can give yourself to push you towards freedom and towards freedom in your mind. So intentional thinking is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself and your anxiety throughout the day. That's why it is the top biggest thing on the Daily Drive, right there with goals and gratitude, because when you wake up with intent already in your mind and with intent for the day set, then the things that come at you aren't going to shake you as hard because you already have your intentional thoughts and your intentional statements lined up for the day. So it sounds like you have kind of an expectation, but it's a freedom statement. It's freeing your mind. It's reminding you of the freedom that you're seeking. So when you wake up and start first thing, as soon as you wake up with intentional thinking, taking control of your mind rather than letting all of the other thoughts and emotions and everything else come in, you're actually freeing yourself and your energy because you're letting go of those negative thoughts that are coming in and you're taking control of that energy and intentionally focusing it towards positivity. So when you wake up and go straight thing. You're bringing that energy into your space. So intentional thinking is going to lead you to the freedom that you are looking for. And here's why. It allows you to direct yourself throughout the day. It allows you to keep yourself in check throughout the day. It allows you to redirect your mind. Like I said, when you start to have those other thoughts coming in and you switch to your intentional thought statements, you're going to free that energy and you're going to push that energy in another direction. Remember, it takes 90 seconds to shift energy and emotion in your body and brain. So when you give yourself 90 seconds of intentional energy in another direction, you're going to change the way you're handling everything. So y'all say hey if you're still following me. Drop a sunshine. Let me know you're here. Intentional thoughts are going to allow you to direct yourself towards freedom. So what I do when I'm writing my intentional thoughts, and first of all, I don't have these all printed out for every day. I have a journal that I write in, so I do a new page for the daily drive every day, and I gave one space for intentional thoughts on the daily drive, but we all know that sometimes it takes more than one intentional thought to push us in a certain direction, right? So you can have as many intentional thought statements as you need or as you want, or whatever is gonna push you in that direction. You can have as much of that as you want. So I do that in a journal so that I have, plenty of lines to write down intentional thought statements. I always write my intentional thought statements in the format of I am committed to, because that reminds my brain that I made that decision. I committed to that decision on my own. It's my decision. It's not someone else's that I'm, trying to keep up with. I made that decision. And so my brain is going to remember I committed to it. And so now what's the next step that I need to take to make it happen, whatever that intentional thought is. My intentional thought for the day, I often use the same ones throughout the day because it just reminds my brain of what I'm doing, where I'm going, what my goals are, what I want to do. So I'll use intentional thought statements like I am committed to my own personal growth and health, because that's going to remind me when I want to eat something that's not so great, or when I want to slack on working out or doing physical activity. It's going to remind me that I made the commitment to my body and my health. And so what's the next step that I need to do? Y'all, and that also means that you get to know what your body and brain needs. You get to know what you are going to be excited about and not excited about, because sometimes I just really don't feel like doing physical activity, or maybe I've pushed it too hard for a couple of days and my body is really sore. And so sometimes when I'm using the intentional thought statement of I am committed to my own personal growth and health, the health part might mean taking a nap because I pushed my body too hard, right? So you get to be aware of what your body needs and what you can do to keep your body working at its highest potential, because that's what's going to allow you the most freedom. So when you use intentional thought statements, make sure that they are connected to what you're doing. Make sure that the energy behind your thought statements is lined up with what you are working towards. I remind myself all the time that I'm committed to my own personal growth and health, because right now that's the biggest thing that I'm working on, really, that and income. And so I remind myself throughout the day that I'm committed to finding new sources of income, and I'm committed to my own personal growth and health, because my goals include operating at my highest potential so that I can continue to stay home and do this sort of thing and become a public speaker and all of those other things. So my intentional thought statements are lined up with my goals and where I'm going. And I use the format of I am committed to flip those switches. So when you're thinking about what's going to push you through the day, make sure that you're taking into account what your day is going to look like. Don't give yourself an intentional thought statement that means that you have to do all of this stuff when you know that you're going to be at work for a while and not be able to do stuff, right? So make sure when you're doing all of this that you're taking things into account. I think a lot of times we are afraid to say no to things. We're yes people, and so we pile on all this stuff before we even look at our schedules or what we're doing. And so then the day comes and we have no energy for it because we didn't plan for it appropriately in the beginning, right? So make sure when you're working on your intentional thought statements and your gratitude, I do gratitude the same way. I am grateful for full statements, because when you're working on these things, you're allowing that energy to come into your body and shift it in another direction. So when I wake up and the first thing that I'm thinking in the morning is how much stuff I have to do, what bills need to be paid, what stuff I need to clean, like what animal peed on the floor, like whatever it is that I wake up thinking about, I then immediately switch it to my intentional thought statements. When I become aware of that, because you also get to be aware of your thoughts during this process. So when I become aware of what I'm thinking, I use my intentional thought statements to switch that. And first thing in the morning, I am simply committed to getting up and getting my energy aligned before I try to do important things throughout the day, right? Make sure that your intentional thought statements are related to what you're doing, where you're going, and you've taken your day into account. Because intentional thought statements will only work if they're done in the right or appropriate way for your brain. If you have a bunch of intentional thought statements that are making you feel anxious, if your intentional thought statements aren't pushing you towards the energy that you want, then you need to change them. This is where you get to take control of your body and your mind and do the things that work for you. My intentional thought statements might be different than your intentional thought statements. You might not even want to call it an intentional thought. You might just want to call it a goal or whatever, right? But it's what works best for you, and it's what flips those switches in your mind and pushes you through the day. But the very first thing that always comes along with these things is that you get to become aware of your thoughts. And I say you get to because it is absolutely freeing to be aware of your thoughts and then be able to change them, direct them in a different energy, put them in a different place. So you get to become aware of your thoughts and then take control of them. Don't let the autopilot take over. Don't let your brain spiral out of control into the other things. This is where you use your intentional thought statements to take back that control, right? So when you wake up and you're feeling yourself immediately stressing about everything you have to do or you know, whatever it is you wake up thinking about, become, excuse me, when you become aware of that, use your intentional thought statements to change that and redirect it. These are things that you can put like on sticky notes and hang it around the house. I haven't gotten to be that extra yet. But these are, you know, you can put like a note in your phone, make it your wallpaper on your phone so that you're always reading your intentional thoughts. Get a journal that's just for intentional thoughts. Look up things on the internet. Look at what other mindset influencers are using as intentional thinking mechanisms or whatever you want to call it. But do this so that you can create and control that freedom, right? Freedom Friday. Give me a hashtag Freedom Friday if you're still following. You do these things so that you can create that freedom. Freedom starts in your mind, and you are in control of creating it and directing it where you want and need it to go, right? And you use intentional thought statements to do that. So when you are wanting to free up your mind, to free up your space, to free up your energy so that you can direct it towards the things you want to do, remember that the intentional thought statements will help you take control of that. And when you write them in the format that's gonna change your brain, right? If I am committed to doesn't work for you, then figure out what works for you. It works for me because it reminds me that I made that decision and now I need to get off my butt and do something about that decision, right? And my intentional thought statements, I intentionally leave them a little bit vague and open because there can be any number of things that are going to change or shift that energy. Like I was saying with my intentional thought statement of I am committed to my own personal growth and health. I'm committed to my own personal growth could mean listening to an audiobook, watching a documentary, watching one of my favorite movies just to get my mind right, reading an actual book, journaling about something, learning about something, right? I'm committed to my own personal growth. What is the next thing that I can do to keep growing and pushing myself forward? I'm committed to my own personal growth and health. So what's the next thing that I need to do right now to get my health in check? If I am out to dinner and I'm committed to my own personal growth and health, what am I going to order to eat? What physical activity am I going to do? What rest am I going to take? Right? So I leave them a little bit vague because I know that it's up to me to control the next step of the energy. So what do I need to do for that next step? I am committed to my own personal growth and health. Now, what's the next thing that I need to do to get the energy back in check? I also sometimes use the intentional thought statement of I am committed to living in gratitude all day, because that's going to remind me that when things come at me, when somebody says something weird, when, something happens, I'm going to shift my energy towards gratitude and get it all back in check. Right? So your intentional thought statement or statements are whatever you need it to be. Whatever works for you is what you get to write down. And then you get to use that to be aware of your thinking and take control of it and create freedom on your own. Because freedom is created internally in your mind first. And when you tune your energy into the abundance and the freedom that's there, it all comes back to you, right? So use your intentional thought statements. You can do this on the daily drive. You can do it in a journal. You can do it in a note in your phone, whatever. But the energy needed to create your own freedom. You can use intentional thought statements to create freedom in your mind. You get to become aware of your thoughts and then take control of it. And that's going to allow you the freedom to push the fear aside, to go for your goals, to show up as the person that you want to show up as, to live how you want to live by thinking intentionally and not letting the autopilot take over. So you're going to allow yourself freedom by controlling what you're putting into your mind and what you're putting out of your mind. And then that's going to tune you into that abundance and that freedom. Y'all, I want you to know that you are all entitled to abundance and to freedom. And when you tune your energy and your mind into it, it all starts to come back to you. So don't wait. Don't wait for some big, huge thing to happen, some sign, whatever it is. Get up every day and intentionally go after the things that you want to go after. This is the only time to do it. We don't know how much time we have. So get up every day and go after those things. Use intentional thinking to allow your mind the space and the freedom to go do that. And everything will change for you. I promise. Y'all, I love you so much. Make sure you check out dailydrivecoaching.com. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Put your email address that I put up on dailydrivecoaching.com. You can also see my services, my retail, everything that's offered there. If you're not part of my Becoming Unlimited Facebook group, let me know. You get these daily drives, plus a little bit more information about unlimiting your thought processes and just a community of support, because we are not alone on this mental health and growth journey. And so you have a community of support there in Becoming Unlimited. It's a free Facebook group just for community and for support and for growth. So let me know if you want to get added to that. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so that you see all of my videos. I will never ask for any kind of fee for what I offer here on social media. The only thing that I will ask is that you give a fee to the social media gods and tag a friend, share, comment, like, interact with me, subscribe to all the things, and just be here with me on this journey. I'm super proud that y'all come here and get growth information so that you can make your own dreams. I will never ask for anything here. Just share, tag, all of those things. I love you so much. Make sure you check out dailydrivecoaching.com. And remember, just use intentional thinking to push you through the day. Be aware of your thoughts and then use those intentional thought statements to give you freedom in your mind and to connect you with the energy of freedom that is there for you. Wake up and direct your mind towards intentional thinking every single day, and your mind will become